This is Glennie at Messenger Guardians Paranormal. This is our streaming studios. I say studios plural because there's actually more than one of us who are at this. It's just that tonight you're probably just going to be with me. Otherwise, I'd be on with another coming in across another app. So tonight it's just my end of the studio. So we're coming to you out of Montpelier, Vermont. So I had something going on last night, and this really I wasn't planning on doing the stream the way I'm about ready to do it. I wasn't planning on doing it tonight, and I'm really mainly testing backgrounds and testing all sorts of things, and testing lighting and all sorts of interesting things that are going on. So I had something happen last night that was weird, strange, and high pitch, almost like someone was yelling in my ear. And so this has always gone on. It's just that by the time I didn't figure any of this out that I was being communicated with, really until sometime during the early middle the early 2000s, around '09 probably was the first time that I figured it out, and then it was another 4 years before I was told to record them and then listen back. And really interesting. So what I am going to do tonight on this short first episode is one, I'm kind of testing things out, seeing how things sound. And also, I might have to switch over where I'm putting these on in order to hear better, and that's likely what I'm going to do. So if you see me put these on, it's mainly because I'm trying to listen to something, listen to the file I'm going to use tonight, and I'm going to be using Audacity tonight. Now, I'm not putting up an ad for one company or another or anything like that. I'm just being clear on what kind of software I'm using while I'm doing this. And sometimes you'll see me turn and I'll speak to the screen, but that's because I have two cameras, but one's not running, one is running. And so occasionally I'll look directly into the camera, and then other times I'm looking at my work screen where I'm making things happen that you can see on our screen here. So that's mainly what we got going on there. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a file that I've made. It's that where I'm going to make sure I can pull this strange file. Let me see what's going on. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've got something really special planned for my next episode that I thought was going to be the first, and that involves the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles when I was there, and the two times. One, I did a very short investigation, and then which is in my YouTube, but I really didn't do much with that, and I didn't show a lot. And then there's the second one, which I didn't explain. Some of the raw footage is posted, but me going through it and having you listen to things and me talking about it, I find that a really neat approach. And so that's where I'm going to go with those, but it'll be quite interesting. And there's a lot of some other shows that I won't be mentioning we're finally allowed to do it officially. But I managed to do it about 3-4 years ago, about 3 years, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I managed to get some really incredible stuff. That again, I'm not. This isn't where I make my money. I don't really make money doing this right now, and it's not where I'm trying to head. This is something I love doing as a hobby, and it's somewhere that I wish to go in the future as a hobby, and as a if it makes something on the side, great. But everyone knows my passion is teaching of writing and those kind of things, and so that's where I'll keep my attention on that. But I love doing this, and I take this just as seriously. So let's go ahead and get started. Since I've talked quite enough, I'm going to I won't be using video tonight. I'm going to be using an audio file that I recorded last night in the midst of this high pitch. And I'm getting a high pitch again now, but it was really bad last night. So when things are happening, if you all hear something in the midst of this video, if you all hear something pretty clearly, I'll identify if there's someone talking in the next room or something. But if there's no one else talking and I can't hear them, I'll let you know. I'll let you know by not acknowledging it. So if you hear something or see something, please tell me. Plus, I have one of these kind of balls. It's a cat toy. And if you see it, there's one sitting right back here in camera range. So if you see it, go off. You can always, let me know, and that's what's happening, and that you can see it going off. As you can see, I don't really have comments or anything up right now because I haven't completely finished putting all that together. But what I really do want, what I really do want to do is first have as few distractions as possible when actually doing this kind of work. But ultimately, I may get comments put up to where people can respond in. I'm not right now. I'm not expecting anyone to be watching through Twitch right now, but I'll load this into YouTube so that you all can see it, and then you can respond in the comments if you hear something outside of the work you hear me doing right here. So let me go. Let me hit the escape and go head on into Audacity, and I'll pull up the file that I'm looking for. So let's open. Let me see. All right, I'm going to go. Okay, and all right, and no, not the right one. Audio analysis, and no, also not the right one. Well, there we are, and right there. Okay, so we've got the file up, and I know you guys said to see me doing that, but I tried to make it to where that would occur separately, but I didn't quite operate it correctly. So there we are. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Hopefully you all can hear it, so you can hear the raw file. Okay, I'm going to actually. Allows you to see what I do when I'm listening for stuff. People will say, "Oh, we're being fake and we're adding things." Let me say right now, for the record, that it takes 5 or 10 times more energy to fake something than it does just to play out things and let you hear them naturally. Some of you are going to hear it, some of you will not. That is absolutely, totally, and completely okay if you're not going to hear it. That's all right. Sometimes when an energy or what have you is trying to communicate, sometimes it's just trying to communicate with you, not everybody else. Sometimes it's on a frequency that just about everybody can pick up if they can hear. I have really bad eyesight in certain instances, extremely far away, in deep kind of looking up into space or whatever. I can see things. It's real strange. But insofar as seeing far away in regular ground level, it's very difficult. But I have excellent hearing, and therefore I can hear a lot more things. Just sometimes I can hear just a lot more regular noises. But again, this is just going to be me amplifying the noise so that you can actually hear it. So I'm going to first play it before amplification. I'm going to play it and hopefully it'll come up for you. So here it is. Wow, what do you want? Please don't do that in my ear like that. 0027 hours. February 24th, 2021. Why do you do that? Please stop. Now, on that, you hear a lot of background, what sounds like background sounds like someone was outside my window. And I'll be honest, there's a window here and there's a window back here. But there was no one it was almost 12:30 at night. So there wasn't any actual, there wasn't anyone outside my windows. It's extremely clear if there is. And I would even say there's people talking outside my window. For anyone who's ever seen my YouTube channel and have noticed where I'll identify, or sometimes I'll even pause my video because those aren't streamed live. Those are just me making a video like this. But this is the first time I've ever streamed live. I'll go in, pause for a second, close the windows or whatever, make a claim that, okay, there is someone outside. I'm going to be very clear about that sort of thing. There are others in my apartment with me, but if they're talking, I'll mention that. But since this is late, they're usually resting or whatever, but I'm streaming and they know that. Usually you're not going to hear them. And I'll even say, oh, that's the voice of someone coming in from the apartment or whatever. And so I will make that claim. I'm not going to say something that is not true, that hasn't actually happened. I'm not going to make a claim or dishonest claim. So you can truly be assured that that's simply not going to happen. Okay, so this was without me turning it up. Okay, I'm going to play it raw through one more time, and you can see on the screen me doing it. But this time all I'm going to do is just turn it up. I'm just going to amplify it. So I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to amplify, and I'm going to try to turn it down a little bit because I don't want it to go too loud. Okay. And you can see it amplifies the line. Now the line is amplified, and I'm going to play it again.
Wow, what do you want? Please don't do that in my ear like that. Zero 27 hours.
Okay, so I'm hearing more in between here, and
wow.
Okay, that's me. I'm going to go back over here so we can listen to the quieter parts. I'm going to bring this up so you don't have to hear me jabbering on so much. Okay, now I'm going to go over to this side too. Now understand, I know the difference between my breathing regimen and my voice. And like in the video I'm going to be presenting on the second episode we do, you will hear a sound coming off of me just having said something, making it all in all impossible for my voice to have done a lip movement involving sounds, or that kind of sound. Here I got my blocker on, so you can't really hear me going "Pah." So I have to make a point of it, otherwise it won't get through this filter. But if you hear another sound that isn't my breathing coming in, then that's the kind of sound I'm looking for, especially when there's no other sounds going on in the room other than I can hear the refrigerator, and you really can't hear the refrigerator going, but I can hear it going. The heater is not going right now, which is a water heater, but I know what that sounds like when it's tapping. So again, I identify every sound that I can hear. So let me go ahead and play this. Okay. In this, you hear me breathing, and then you hear a talking sound. So let me turn it, let me play it one more time from this point. Okay, so right there, there's a good couple of, there's a good level of talking going on right there. Which again, when this occurred last night, like right now, there is a pitch in the room that has stepped up. Whenever I'm talking about these kind of things, they things tend to happen or appear. I don't know if that light's gonna go off back there or not. That cat light that I've got, that if you tap it, touch it, do something, it goes off. But I had it only go off once like that last night, or a couple of nights ago, when I was lying in bed, and it went off about a minute after I got in bed, as if someone went over. And you actually have to tap the thing to make it go off. You have to actually get over there and physically move it, not just breathe on it, but move it. You can breathe on it hard and it will move, but it takes a little bit of actual touching. And I've got it sitting in something where it won't just start rolling. So anyway, so there's a lot of talking going on in the spot of the recording that you see right there. Not nearly as much on the first section over here, but it's there. It's just not there as easily. So I'm going to be putting my focus right in this area, and then I'm going to be putting another focus right here so I can listen. Now let me try to see what it was I said right here. Because we could get an answer to something I was asking.
Why do you do that?
Okay, so me saying, why do you do that here? But over here, me asking another question, I think.
February 24th, 2021.
Okay, so that's just me giving a date. But anyway, again, this is me being very particular and very honest about how I do this and how I listen for stuff. And if something comes across more strongly on part of the line than what you see here, then I'm going to look there first. That's where it's going to be, that I can see where something is coming across more strongly. more strongly in that level. So that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this, is to show you what it is I'm doing, and how closely I'm doing it and what's going on. And I realize you might not be able to actually see that ball go off. It's right behind my head. So it's right under my chin. It's like right here. But I've got my chair in such a way that where you might be able to see it. So let me go back over here. Now let's actually go in now and listen to this real quick, amplified, and then we're going to pull off a couple of the lines, pull off the parts, and let's listen to them separately, okay? Now that one is not as clear as to what's going on. Now it can't be heard as clearly as I would like it to be heard. Yeah, so we'll check that second. What I'm going to do is after I said the date, I'm going to take this area right in here, and I'm going to specifically pull it out and listen to it using Audacity. So again, for those who can hear it, great. For those who can't, I'm not expecting you always to be able to do that right from the start. So let's look. Let me go in real quick here. No one wants to stare at a stupid screen with me doing this. So let me go in. And pull this piece up separately, which I am actually doing. As a matter of fact, let me show you really quick how I'm doing it, because this is all about how I'm doing it, and I don't want it to make it look like I'm hiding something or bringing up something fake or anything like that. So I'm going to go into all right. Okay, let me go ahead and make sure I know what I'm doing here. All right. Okay, that's what I do. All right, because I'm trying to make sure we got it going here and without boring you. Here we are. So I'm going to pull this. I'm going to export this shot. Export selected audio, which is this piece of audio right here. I'm going to export that into its own file. Okay, so and what I wanted to do before I did that, so I'm going to close that for a moment and bring this all back up. What I wanted to do is to make sure I said from which seconds to which seconds is it going, and this is every 15, 20, 25, so it's about 28 to 32, about 28 to 32 seconds. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to, and again, this is supposed to be instructional for those who do it. So if it also seems like it's that way, it is. So we're going to do a .wav file that we're going to pull it off separately, okay? And all right, so I'm going to make this 30, let's say, so 28 seconds to about 32 seconds, maybe 33, somewhere in there. And this was from February. Well, it actually was it was February 24th. It was early in the first hour of February 24th. So I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to go back and place it in the correct file. So let me go ahead and place this in the correct file, so that I can do this without boring the living absolute and total crap out of people. That way you'll be able to see me go ahead and work on this. BR analysis. Save the file. Okay. All right. So I've now got the file saved, and now I'm going to go into Audacity, and I'm going to open it up separately. Okay, and we're going to give it a listen, opened up separately. Okay. So here, that's the file I just separated out. 21:32 hours, so 9:32 at night, just now that I just did on the 24th. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to bring the file over so that you all can actually see it. So now this is the file that that we're going to listen to up close. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to amplify. We've already heard it once, unamplified, but I'm going to amplify. Oops, I'm going to amplify the entire thing. I don't want to miss anything. So we're going to go to the end here. We're going to amplify the entire file. I'm going to go up to Effect. I'm going to amplify and turn it down a little bit so I don't go crazy on the amplification. So I'm going to pull it down a little bit. Okay, and here, and then we're going to listen to this. Okay, so right in here you can hear, the first thing you hear is me breathing in or out, one or the other, and then you hear a human voice, a person actually saying something. Let's start that over again. Okay, so again, you hear me breathing, and then you hear a voice. Now, I think I know what he's saying, but I'm not going to actually say that right now. I'm just going to play it again. And on the line, right in this area, is where the disruption is, where this person's voice occurs. Okay, so if I play that, okay, I get past the point where I'm breathing. Okay, and you can hear this voice. Hopefully it's close enough on the to where you all can hear it through the microphone until I can figure out how to play it through the recording, which I may or may not be able to, or I may be able to. Not really sure exactly right now, but I'm trying to make my setup to where it will be easier. And people have ideas out there about how, you know, I can get more of that sound in there. Hey, you're free to tell me how to do it. You're free to give me some ideas. All right, so we're going to play this. I've removed the area where my voice, where my breathing is, right in here, and now I'm going to play this. Because there's a lot of talking in there. Again, there was no one downstairs outside the windows, and no one talking in the apartment. And the water heater does not sound like that when it's going off. As a matter of fact, you can easily tell when it's doing something. And I also don't have any water going in the bathroom, which is sometimes when we're doing EVPs, we use water in the back room as a white noise background so that whatever is trying to mentally or quantum level project the energy of speech as an energy form, as a thought form, it needs something to create sound in third dimensional reality, third dimensional space, because it has no throat. It needs to be able to use the background noise. In this case, all you're hearing is background noise being manipulated into sound, because it needs energy in three-dimensional space to make the thought form come real. When people are out using intention to play around with certain kinds of apps, I won't name what, they talk about intention, and they do things with a serious intention of doing one thing or another, and their intention essentially forms reality around their thought. Their actual intention gives them what they want. It may be nothing to a person watching from, you know, going, oh, that's a coincidence, that's just a coincidence. But intention is absolutely everything. Intention matters, even when people think your intention doesn't matter. Actually, your intention is all the energy that goes in behind something. So yeah, it truly does matter. Even in law, intention matters. I can't remember how many quarters of the law intention is. Can't remember the statement, but it does absolutely matter. Okay, so now we've got the part of the file metered off that is making the sound. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go into the effects area again, and I'm not adding anything. But what I'm going to decide to do is I'm going to do a noise reduction. Okay, now I don't always use the noise reduction file the way I'd like to. It's one of these things in Audacity where it's a trick to try and make it work the way you want it to work. So I got noise reduction on, and I'm going to see if I can, and now the noise reduction is on, and I'm also going to slightly slow up what's being spoken. I'm going to go in and change the speed. So now on some apps that some people see me use on my phone and transfer into YouTube, I use another app that does this as well. Again, I'm not pushing for one app type or another. I'm just giving you the information on what I use. And so if I'm going to I'm going to open up here, and I'm going to go to my folder that I use for all my paranormal stuff in my phone, and I can tell you what I use. I use WordPad, WordPad free, and I use a pro version of Tape to Talk when I'm just doing Tape to Talk. When I'm trying to figure out what's going on and I've got my phone nearby. Other times I will use professional devices like this professional recorder that and these are not cheap at all, and you don't go and buy multiple ones of them. You just buy them one off so you can pay your bills and eat, and do what you got to do for other people that you owe things to. So you buy equipment piecemeal. But that was that. And then I use WavePad free on my phone. WavePad free to go and analyze things. And if I wanted to use WavePad Pro, I could. I could pay for it. The thing with WavePad Pro is it's got a lot. Its Pro version has a lot of add this effect, add this effect, add that effect. I'm not adding effects to these sounds to make it sound like something that's not there. I'm not doing that. I'm not adding I'm not doing anything like that. I'm merely looking at the line, taking sound away, slowing it down, speeding up to see if it comes clear. That's generally all I'm doing. I may even have to reverberate the line to get it to get it to flesh out the sound better. But I'm not trying to manipulate anything insofar as, I'm going to make it sound like it's saying some words, and I'm going to put some words down and put it out there. As I say, that's 5 to 10 times harder, if not even harder to do, and then to put out there. So somebody's trying extra hard if they're trying to fake you out. I just don't have time. I do this, and then I go and grade papers, in a few hours, and grade by the stacks, and plan for other things, and plan for online shows where I'm talking about this sort of thing with other organizations, and I just don't have time to fake things and make people think I found something I didn't, because I don't. As a joke, I don't lie very well. I'm just not good at that. So now we've already reduced the line sound. So let's just see what we can hear. Okay, so I'm going to re-amplify. I took a noise reduction, but I'm going to amplify the noise reduction line one more time. Okay, I'm going to roll it back so I don't bring it up too far. Okay. Okay, so I might have to turn it up again because it needs to be turned up. It needs to be amplified again. Okay, now that's going to be kind of loud, and I know that, so I'm going to reach back and control my audio a little bit so that it won't blow people out of the apartment building on all sides of the walls and the floor, and turn it down a bit. Nor do I want to blow you all out, because I'm sure that's what I just did. I apologize. Okay, so there's a lot of talking going on in there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to add a reverberation to it to get it to flush out. A little bit so I can hear it better. Just to get it to reverb, nothing more. I almost never have to. Also, I used to use a lot, which I don't use much anymore. I used to use reverse to see if they were saying something in reverse. You do get that with regular EVPs sometimes, but quite often if they really want to say something, they're going to say it loud enough, and they're not trying to play a trick and do it in reverse. They're not trying to mess with your head and do it in reverse. If there's someone or something out there who used to be in this dimensional space, three-dimensional space more often, but now they're somewhere between here where we are and where we tend to go to when we leave here. Maybe the places we go to are generally places we actually come from, and this is the place we're visiting. But either way, they're somewhere in between these spaces. So what generally is happening is, if they're really tricksters, or they like playing tricks, and they weren't that great personality wise, they're going to be that way towards you. They're going to be that way as well with this kind of work. I'm sorry about the computer monitor border that you all see right here along the bottom, But if I raise that thing up any further, there's going to be a lot of space above my head, and so that can't happen. And that monitor is dipped down as far as it can go. So just so you all know, that is intentional. But now let's go ahead and play this. I haven't slowed it down yet, but let's go ahead and play it and see what it sounds like with the reverberation running through it. Okay, so you can hear more of what's going on, but we're going to remove. I'm probably going to try to remove sound one more time, to noise reduce one more time, so I can. It's coming in. It's coming in a bit better. So it's coming in a bit better. This sounds like it needs to be slowed down just a little bit. So I'm going to take a moment to make sure I know what I'm doing when I'm trying to slow this thing down. So let's go over to, let's see, generate, this is effect, change speed. Okay, so now I know what I'm doing. And I kind of wanted to make sure without boring you all to death what I was doing. So effect, and I'm going to change speed. Okay, now I'm going to test changing the speed. I'm going to slow it down, see what, and then I'm just going to test how it sounds like through preview. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Okay, it sounds like it's just too slow, and it might be coming across at as normal speed as it originally can come across. It's very clear to me generally the first part of what's being said, but again, I try not to until I can finally get to it to tell you what I think is being said, because sometimes some people can hear what's being said clearly, and others cannot. Some will pick up on things I might miss. And I will tell you this, you're thoroughly welcome to pick up on things that I might be missing. As a matter of fact, I kind of call on you to pick up on things if you want to, or call on me if you pick up on something that I didn't say or that I missed. Or if you want to call me out, say it's all BS and be haters, and that's okay. It's going to happen. In Twitch, that's going to happen, and it happens in YouTube, but not everybody agrees, and I allow through comments where people say, sorry, I don't hear anything, I don't think this is real. That's okay. They're not being mean when they say that. They just don't. But insofar as really ugly comments and ugly hate stuff in my YouTube, I don't even see everything comes through a moderator on that side, and those messages get moderated out. And only the really interesting and critical ones come through. And people can disagree. Those are critical. Those come through. If people say they don't believe it, don't hear it, or it could just be coincidence, that's okay. You got to put that out there, and you got to put people's ideas like that out there. But if people are being ugly and wanting to discount everything, and they want to just blow a hole through it no matter what and troll you, well, that's, we can control that. It's like, what? Go and troll someone else's channel. You can be critical. You don't even have to agree. But if you're going to troll, not bothered. Okay, so let's listen to this again. I sped it back up just a little bit more. So let's preview it. Okay, again. Okay, so I'm going to allow it to do that, and I'm going to now go up to effect. If this seems tedious, well, it is. Investigating stuff like this is really tedious, and you gotta just try and do what you can to make it work. I don't want to add a distortion or an echo, right? Sometimes an echo can make something come out, but I don't want to add an echo because it won't work on this. An echo works when you're trying to hear something a little bit better. That's I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's something you use when you need to. I'm going to change the pitch just a little bit and preview it. pull up. That clearly won't work. Pull down. Okay, now that may have worked. I'm going to just move the pitch just a little bit more, only because that seems to have knocked out the distortion in the background enough to hear the person's voice. Okay? Okay, that really did actually work better. So let me pull it up a little bit more in preview. Okay, pull pitch back down. Okay, now I'm going to, and I hope this works because I think they're plugged in. I'm going to listen a little bit more, but this time I'm going to be putting my headset on so that I can hear. You all will still be able to hear just fine as well, but this will let me hear better. That way I can start listening and getting closer to what it is being said. Okay, okay, so I can tell you now it's a male voice. Sounds younger than, you know, he's not an older male, as in the sense of my age or older. He's not in his 50s or older. He's definitely, or I should say, more accurately, as we do tend to think of these things, and putting them out in three-dimensional detail is very crude and difficult. But the projection of the voice sounds younger. But this voice has come across, by the way, before in my space before. So let me pull this down. Okay, so this is coming across a bit clearer to me. Okay, I'm going to pull it back down a little bit more. Okay, so pitch is a really important piece in this to try and also help clear up the background sound and bring the voice down to a normal pitch where it needs to be. Because again, this is a mental projection, quantum mental projection. So it's coming through into from barely fourth and fifth dimensional space, just barely fifth, because if it was entirely fifth, it would come across very differently. But it's coming across in an area stuck between three-dimensional, fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional space. So it's in a stuck area between them, and it's coming across. So it's changing. Its pitch is shifting when it comes through, almost as if there's a layer, where quote the laws of physics in three-dimensional space have to handle it. And so I have to slightly shift it in order to hear what's being said. So let me make sure this is still coming out. Okay, so now I'm going to noise reduce. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go up to, well, the speed has changed. I don't think I need to change the speed more. I don't think so. So I'm going to go to speed one more time and preview. Okay, so I'm getting the last word in there, and I'm hoping that what I am hearing, that this isn't entirely inappropriate, because that happens on the line, on these lines. Sometimes things will come across and the messages are rather not safe for children, kind of thing. So far that hasn't happened in this video, and there's nothing like that going on, but I want to be able to see how much more we can get out of it. But I've got the guy's voice. I'm starting to get words. And so if you hear me, you see me doing this, I'm counting his words. Okay, I'm counting his words now. I haven't noise reduced again, which probably I'm going to need to do, but I don't think I'm going to change the pitch again. So let me go ahead and see if I can count how many words I think he's saying based on what I'm listening to. Now, if there are those who are questioning whether or not any of this is real and what it sounds like and I can't hear anything, I am perfectly willing to set up a share file that I specifically share with viewers. That's a drive file from Google Drive. That if you want to, you can email messengerguardiansvermont@gmail.com and say, Glennie, could I have a could we have the Audacity file or the audio file itself that you were analyzing and the Audacity file itself? And I'll mark the Audacity file with a copyright, because it's my work. But I'll mark it and send it out to you, and say, of course, absolutely, and either do that or I'll just provide a folder where people can separately go on to just that folder in the drive where you'll see it and you can go in. I just have a share link, and you ask me for the share link, and I'll share it out to you. Or I might even, provide a share link somehow. But I absolutely will do that for those who want to listen to it better or listen to it closer. But I am doing my best to make sure it can be heard through this recording. So let's listen to it one more time. This time I'm going to count. I'm going to count the words that I'm hearing. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm hearing, strangely enough, I'm hearing here. I'm hearing a very weak secondary voice here. And then I'm hearing a third voice, this other voice from here over here. The primary voice here being heard right here, okay? So these areas are matching each other. The weak voice I'm hearing in between, that means they're just not projecting on, very well. I can't tell if he's talking to me or if he's talking to the other entity, the other person, the other projection into the room. Now, what is this? What's the nature of it? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it could be two humanoid aliens or humanoid interstellars who are between dimensions because they can operate interdimensionally, watching and talking, and I detect them. It could be two earthbound spirits talking who are trapped in the area or whatever. That it could be someone projecting themselves uh, through oh gosh, it's a projective viewing, remote viewing into the room, and I can detect the remote view. I can detect their sound. I can detect their feel. I can detect them psychically and mentally, in a remote view. And just so you know, more advanced species than us can detect a remote viewer, seeing their place from a distance, even a distance through time, and can project back through the remote viewer to get their location. So yes, that sort of thing happens. I know that just sounded crazy, but I didn't say that without any understanding of remote viewing. But it could be anything, and I don't always know the nature of what's going on, but I can say to you that I understand the feeling of what's going on and can feel what's happening. And sometimes a lot of the time you just can't reproduce that scientifically in a material sense, because these events don't operate in a three-dimensional space where you can just throw it into a laboratory and reproduce it. If you can reproduce that eerie feel in a laboratory, fine, great. But it didn't occur in a laboratory setting with laboratory material science functions in order to make it happen. So you're still producing something that's fake. So it says, oh, we can reproduce that eerie feeling in a laboratory. Well, good for you. That's not how it happened when it actually occurred to the people it happened to, though. It didn't happen through somebody redoing it in a laboratory. Unless a remote viewer being nearby was projecting that. That's, you never know. We don't know the nature of these. So am I going to go around calling this, oh, it's an evil spirit? No, because I have no idea if that's what this is. None whatsoever. Is it a dark entity? I don't know, maybe. Sometimes I get the nastiest things, horrible things said to me. But people have bad attitudes everywhere, whether they're human or humanoid or never were human and come across as negatives. I don't get those all that often, but they come around and they like to scratch and do crazy things. But that and earthbounds can do that if they're in bad attitudes. There's a difference between something being evil and dark and something having a bad attitude. A lot of the time, it's just someone having a bad attitude. What the nature of that someone or something is, I'm not going to 100% sit here and say that I know what it is unless I tell you from my internal self what I'm feeling and the emotions I'm picking up from it. That I can tell you with surety from me, but only from my internal self, from my real self. That's the only way I can pass that off. Others can say differently, and that is okay. But if you're not here and you're not feeling it and you don't understand it, then you're not going to be able to make a comment that's comforting to other people in the situation or to me. You can make a comment that's comfortable for yourself, and that's absolutely okay too. But again, this isn't really about those not experiencing it. It's about those who could be calling from help from another space, time, or trap. Sometimes maybe we're being detected or seen as ghostly from another dimensional space just outside of this one. Maybe it's only one time I came across a temporal problem in one of my things where it was music being played in the background of the recording, and when I got about 20 minutes after the recording, in the apartment that I was in with friends, they turned on the very music that was playing in the recording 20 minutes earlier in the background when nobody was home. And on top of that, the music had another layer that couldn't be heard in the recording, which was a singing layer. But it was the same music in the background, the exact same tune. It was nobody else was home in the building because it was one of those, again, like this. It was a really old building, but that house was even older than this brick structure, and and there was nobody else home. You'd be able to tell. Just the floors are thin, the walls are thin. Nobody else was home, and it was in the spring. And It was a very interesting recording. So sometimes temporal anomalies do occur inside of recordings where something happens and you accidentally trip a space and time event, and that takes place as well. You know, but sometimes you get entities who are actually responding exactly back to you, or asking you, or coming in on you and talking to you. Don't know what the nature of it is always, really, that I can confirm on camera, but I can give you some ideas that I can go through, definitely. So let's play this again. Okay, that's actually the weaker voice. Let's try and hear that. Okay, now I'm going on this midsection. I'm going to do a noise reduction. Okay. Ooh. Okay, it needs me to select the sample. Okay, on the noise reduction, right in this area here. Let's play this one more time. Okay, I gotta make sure this is right. And right here, right here. All right, we're actually gonna do it from right here. Yeah, see? A really weird line, and I can hear it now, and I hear 3 words in the line. So I'm gonna noise reduce. Okay, preview. Okay, so I am hearing something there, and I'm going to change its pitch as well in this area because, or its speed, it seems to need the speed slightly. Let's try the pitch first. Okay, that pitch is entirely not right. All right, let's turn it up a little bit. I do apologize though if I'm blowing anybody's ears out when I'm doing this. I really apologize. Okay, so that's coming across pretty clearly. All I have to do now is change. So I've changed the pitch slightly. Now all I have to do is change the speed, because whatever's coming across is coming across pretty clearly now. I'm starting to hear it. And this is the one that's harder to hear. The two on each side aren't that hard to hear anymore. And I'll go and deal with those in a moment. But usually what I do when I'm doing this is I'll go up and I'll look at labels. Add label at selection. I should say, I'm going to call this male voice 2 because it is the second male voice that I'm hearing. So I'm going to go in to male voice 2, and I'm going to slightly change the speed. Okay, so I'm going to go up. I'm going to go over to. You all can probably see where I'm supposed to be going here. Change speed. Okay, so we're at the change speed area, and I'm going to preview. That's too slow, so I need to push it up. And I'm going to need to put these back on so I can hear. Oops. Let me do that. Okay, that's still too slow. Okay, that's a little better actually. That looks like the speed was too far down, so it's too. Okay, it's too fast. Now I'll pull it down a little bit. Yes, if you're wondering whether or not I can tell whether it's too fast or too slow, I can. I can tell by its pitch and by its speed whether it's too fast or too slow. I can tell where I've done that, or where I'm like, nope, that's too fast. And then I'll go back and I can hear a little bit better. So let's preview again. Okay, 3 words. I can hear 3 very clear words in there. I'm going to make sure before I tell you what I think they are, whether or not pop it down a little bit. Oops. Okay, that's still too fast. That's a little too fast. Too slow. All right, so let's come back to 331. See, I need to know where the speed was, where I heard it before. And there it is. Okay, so generally, now let's listen to it again. Okay, so there's 3 words in there that I can hear, and I can say that. Now, if I'm wrong, and it's okay if I'm wrong, especially if I begin hearing it differently, but this is where I'm going to start going in, and I'm going to add a label, and I'm going to do, I don't even know why this is like that. Damn, you're cool. And it does, I don't know who's being referred to here, who's being spoken to here, because this is the second voice, and it's possible that second voice is responding to the first voice, or me. But and sometimes it's a smartass going, "Damn, you're cool," And this voice is these people have been in here before. I've heard them before. But and while I'm doing this, by the way, then I go up to say project. Um, I go up to say project, and I'll end up saving the project inside this area. I've already named it, and I do that just so if all hell breaks loose and things shut off, then I can come back to it. Now again, I'm only going to be doing these sections for the stream, and the other sections I would work offline. But that's the first part right there. Now you see how long it took me to get to that. But again, I was also talking to everyone and trying to make a point. Now I apologize again. I don't have notes coming up and people being able to come on and comment. And it's not because I don't want to talk to people. That is absolutely not it. I might be able to find a way to talk to people and make the stream come up while I'm doing this, but that's a lot of distraction, and I'll just figure another way around making that happen, so that it's not distracting, but people can come up and comment while I'm doing it, and I think that's cool being able to do. Sorry, I think that's cool being able to do that. So let's go ahead to the other areas here that we can listen to, because we got this first area already. Okay, now again, this is tedious, and the only way I showed you all how I got to hearing it is because it was very particular that there were voices in this section after I said the date. And again, there's more on the main line of the main file, and I can go into the main file and save the main file so that so that when I go back later on to do more on the project, I can save the main file. Okay, and I can I'll put a folder in that says this is raw file. Okay, so well, raw AUP file. So raw AUP file, and but the raw file, the true raw file. Oh, geez, doesn't quite have it up here yet. All right. Okay, so and then MGP BR Feb 24th main file. Okay, raw file. Raw file AUP. Okay, so that's the AUP file, and that's the main raw file, and that'll open up. I'll be able to go back to the main file. Now the raw file, the WAV file that I got off my phone. Well, actually, I sent it from my phone to my drive to share with a friend, and and to check on my phone. But I ended up not checking it on the phone. It just came up today. Do this on Twitch. Do this as a first thing off on Twitch to test all the things that I'm trying to get done, and so that's what we're doing. But again, that's the main one. So I'm going to minimize the main file and come back with the one we've been working on. Actually, I should have done this. It's not going to let me do that. Now it'll let me do it. There we go. All right, so they both have, one has to be in the background. Anyway, so now I'm going to go to the front part of the file over of this sub file over here on this side and listen to this part of the recording where the dude's voice starts off. And again, I'm telling you, this voice and this voice on the other side are one person. This voice in the middle is a person who has said something. So there's a possibility. Again, I don't know if this is true. I can't prove that that's a thing. But this other person could very well have been responding to the person who was responding or coming up on me and saying something. So we could have a live responding entity situation, and not a situation involving, certainly not a situation involving background psychic impressions, which are life impressions, life things happening, sometimes over emotional states, things going on that happen so often, or an event that is so horrific it records itself into the walls and buildings and grounds around it and holds that recording for centuries, sometimes for decades, sometimes for centuries. I don't think we're dealing with a psychic impression, okay, which is what that's called. It's a background non-intelligent haunt. A psychic impression keeps rolling itself over and over again until it fades. But if it doesn't fade, it's being fed by memories from an active entity who keeps remembering it and making it run. So that's altogether a whole nother kind of event that's going on. So let's go ahead and play this. All right, so let's turn that down a little bit so it won't blow you guys out. I apologize. Okay, so now I have to go into these and slightly change the speed. Remove pitch and change the speed slightly, enough for it to matter. So I'm having a hard time going back in again and changing this. It's moving actually. I don't know why it's doing that. That's okay. That's really strange because I'm trying to save it to where it can. It's still not letting me go outside the area here. It's really, really strange. I don't know why it's doing that. So let me see what I can do real quick to get that to work better, and see what I can do. 'Cause, oh, wait a minute. It's still not. It's not allowing me to move in and out. Now, this means, this is an example really of when we have difficulties with our recordings. When the recording won't work right, or it won't, the technology won't edge out right, or, I'm having a hard time getting it to play. So, what I might have to do with this one, let me show you what I might have to do with this one, is I might have to leave this where it is, which is kind of strange to do that, and then go in and open up another version of the same file to make it work. But if I try to move it now, for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to select, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. So what I am going to do is this, it's saved, so I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to reopen it, and hopefully maybe that'll help change what's going on. And then I'm going to go in and do this. That's not the file. Go in and okay, open that back up. Okay, finally. So I got it to come up again. Good, I got to do that. So again, when you're doing this kind of work and you have small issues with the technology that you're trying to use, what you have to do generally is find ways around it and find ways through it and not get mad or anything like that. You just got to work with it. So I'm going to noise reduce this area first so we can get to where this guy's see what this guy's doing, what he's talking about. Noise reduction, and then we're going to noise reduce the area. Okay, that's pretty good. So I've noise reduced this area. Now I'm going to work with the pitch. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go down to pitch. And sometimes when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going when I'm dealing with the pitch, it's not always the easiest thing. So I got to go in and pull the pitch down and try and remember where the word pitch is sitting on this and deal with the pitch. So, which is what I'm doing. Analyze. Nope. Okay, change. There it is. Change pitch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this change pitch again. And I'm going to preview the change pitch. Now we're going to turn it up a little bit. So hopefully I'm not blasting you guys out when I do this. Okay, so so the pitch, I'm probably not going to change that much. Okay, we're going to leave that there. Now the speed will need to change a little bit, so I can see whether, I don't think the speed's going to need to change that much, but we're going to look at it real quick here. And now turn it down a little, shift it down a little bit. That sounds like it's a little too slow, but I'm going to slow it down even further just to make sure. almost sounds like a name. I'm going to slow it down even further. Okay, now I know that's too slow. So we're going to go right in here and pull it to 1.100. Okay, so I can bring it to a speed where I think it could work. Okay, so let me put these back on so that I can listen one more time to make sure. So it almost sounds like a name being said, but the person is speaking clearly enough for me to hear now. And it's almost like a name. Now, if I want to change the speed, there's other ways to change the speed and in here as well. Like if I want to shift the speed down just a little bit, I go right above here on the line up here, and you can see the speed being shifted a little bit. And then I can play it from the speed shift line. If I play it here, it'll play it at the speed it was at originally. If I play it up here, it'll play at the speed I've left it. Now, if I want to make that speed change permanent, I have to go into effects and pull the speed change down and save it, like you were seeing me do. Okay, so what I am hearing here, and it does sound like a name. You know, it absolutely does sound like a name. You know, so again, I could be wrong about this, and who knows? But I can tell you that often you will get names. Often you will get the sound of people's names coming in, and it does sound like he's saying Joey. Like he's telling me his name. But then there's someone else speaking at a pitch, not at the same pitch as his, which means he's either been around longer and he's able to actually manipulate his thoughts, or manipulate the thought wave, which comes across like a radio wave and essentially into three-dimensional space, similar to that, and can be caught with background noise. It can be caught using the background noise in the room. There was nothing else in the room, no fan running. It's all background noise, galactic background noise, or planetary background noise for the atmosphere. There was nothing else running. So it does sound like a name. Sometimes I have to say a name, and then I put a question mark there, and then I'll put male voice 1. Male voice 1. Okay, so this is the other side of the male voice 1, and I'm going to control save, so I can save the file, keep it working, and then I'm going to now go here and listen to this. Is I'm certain from where I'm sitting and from where I'm listening that this here is also male voice 1. So I'm going to play this at its normal speed. Okay, I think I might have blown you all out, and I apologize. This is something I'm learning to not do. Okay, now that I know has too much noise, so I'm going to go up to noise reduction. And again, I apologize, and I will put on my thing that if you're using a headset to listen to this, is to have the headset only turned up moderately when you're listening to the material itself, so you can hear better. But if you have earbuds plugged right in, it could accidentally blow you out when you're trying to listen, and I do apologize. It will happen until I can get a better system set up where I can modulate sound better while I'm doing this. I don't have all the equipment. I don't have everything I need, but I'm doing the best I can for what I've got, and I do apologize ahead of time for those I accidentally blow out. So we're going to go to noise reduction here, and we're going to preview this. Now turn it up a little bit. Okay, that that's enough noise reduction. I don't have to reduce that anymore. So that pulls it down. You may notice that that's a similar noise reduction to the other lines. That's because I only noise reduced them once. Well, I only noise reduced them in this setting once. Had to noise reduce them a couple of times on the main file, on the main line. I'm going to go ahead and save doing that so that it stays where it is. Something happens, everything shuts off, and the stream goes away. I still have my work in place for where I am. So we'll go ahead up to pitch now. And try to bring the pitch into place where we can hear a little bit better. Let's preview this. Okay, now that sounds like it, even though it'll work okay, it sounds like more is being said and not really being caught. So let's pull back a little bit. It's entirely too fast, so let's pull back again. Okay, so the pitch is okay here, but let's now go into changing the speed. I want to change the speed more permanently up here instead of going up through here and changing the speed temporarily. So let's go ahead in here and listen. Okay, so now I'm hearing 3 separate words. Okay, so I need to, this sounds almost too fast, so let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, these are the 3 words I thought I heard before. Let's slide it down a little bit more. All right. Okay, so now I can hear it better, but now I'm going to put my headset on. And again, once we're done with this main subline, we're done with the stream. I'm just doing this to show you how I go through doing this and what methods Messenger Guardians and other paranormal investigator teams who do this on the side. And when they say they have their editors go through the audio, this is what they're doing. Now, they may not be using Audacity. Maybe this is considered elementary, but I'm not a master audio manipulator. I don't manipulate audio in the sense of manipulation. First of all, is absolutely a negative connotation. Makes it sound like I'm actually adding that in there, and I'm not adding anything in there. As you all have seen, I didn't add those voices, and nobody was speaking in the room. The water heater was not clanking because that's a very specific sound. The refrigerator doesn't make that kind of noise. No water was running in the bathroom, and the door was closed, and nothing else in here is making any kind of noise. Even my main computer that's running this entire system is quiet. So nothing else is running. So I wanted to be able to go ahead and let y'all see that. So let's listen to this. This won't take too much longer. I hope people are sticking in there with me. And if there's no one in the system, great. I'll just push this over to YouTube and you'll be able to hear it. But again, I apologize for blowing you out. I'm trying to do my best here. Okay, that is a little bit too slow. Okay, so I'm going to push up the speed a little bit. That's slightly too slow, and I can tell that it's slightly too slow. So I'm going to go 150 on the speed change. Okay, and I'm going to preview it again. Okay, it's still too slow, so I'm going to bring it up to 2.275. It might just be too slow. These increments I'm using might just be too slow. Oops. Well, anyway, I'm going to listen to it again and see what it sounds like. Now, that sounds great. It's 3 words, but it almost sounds like they're just walking in here being surprised that it's just me. Is what it sounds like. So, oh, it's you. But I thought it was something else a little earlier, and that I was going to have to deal with inappropriate language. Because if you check back on my videos in Messenger Guardians, you'll notice that I've had to deal with inappropriate things being said to me that aren't really child safe, and I really just don't need to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that much in corporeal form. I don't really need to deal with it also in non corporeal form, whatever and whoever is the nature of these entities. But I feel like they're just roaming around the building and being noisy. So let's listen one more time, and hopefully you will really should be able to hear it at this point. You should be able to catch it through my mic, because this is a really good mic. I'm going to slow this down. I'm going to probably quiet it down a little bit more. I'm going to noise reduce it one more time. And, okay. It's probably noise reducing too much. Let's bring it up a little. Nope, that didn't do anything to help. Let's pull it down a little. Let's pull it down here. Let's pull all three of these choices down a little bit. Okay, now, I did that because I'm trying to get more specifics out of the line. And now it sounds like he's saying something similar to "I'm with you," but it's like, yeah. But I do have creepy, and often it happens in my apartment where I have creepy things talking to me and saying things they really shouldn't be saying to me. Now it sounds like "thought it was you." It's sounding more like "thought it was you." Okay, you can hear that car going off outside. And there's a car going off outside. So now you can actually hear when there's something going on outside my window in the winter when the windows are closed. You get a perspective of what's going on. Okay, now I can hear what's being said. So let me turn. Really wish whoever's doing that would stop. Let me turn it up on the line on the main audio here, because the line, I could probably turn the line back up a little bit and amplify it slightly, or preview the amplification. I'm not going to bring the amplification up too far. Okay. All right, so let's play it again. Okay, now I can hear what's being said. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to go over to put the label in. And okay, again, I tell you that I don't do this unless I'm very specific about why I'm doing it. Now, so that I could type this in a little bit better. That was you. So that was that's someone. That was you. So clearly, I don't know. It's possible they could be talking to each other, where they're accusing each other of having created a disturbance that I'm detecting in my room, and there might have even been more than one of them there. And so what you're having or what you're hearing, possibly is, oops, this can't be moved, is the other person going, "That was you." They might also be accusing me of doing it. One says his name, the other one it says, "Damn, you're cool," and then, "That was you." Often I'll get people who are just talking. They're just having a fling, walking in, being nonchalant about being able to invade my space and having a chat. And quite often they'll do it because they want to do it. And I do have a recording where one said exactly that. I'm first of all, I'm going to save what I just did, and and see real quick if I can pull up the one where the person said, because I wanted to. I might not be able to because I don't know where I put it. And if I had known I was going to say something about that, I would have actually brought it up. So, and I didn't do it. So this is generally what I wanted to do when I wanted to show you what I do when I'm doing this kind of work. Now, this is probably boring as all get out to people who just don't want to have anything to do with it and think you're faking it. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. And that's okay. Sometimes I expect that. So, and until I have a better way of handling the audio, I apologize for the audio that I had to use. But this was just me being able to go through, see, and let you see the work that I do. And I'm gonna save it one more time. Oh, it's already saved. Save that because I saved it from the I saved it on the keyboard. But I want to be able to show you all what I do when I'm out doing this kind of work. And that was just really this area of the recording that I got. I haven't yet pulled this one, and I haven't pulled this one. These were weaker, but they might have something more interesting in them. But there's a lot of talking where I give the date, and after I gave the date, they're just talking randomly, either to me or to each other, and one of them to me. Which they tend to do sometimes, and they tend to get crude sometimes and say things they shouldn't. But I'm not going to be embarrassed if they say something they shouldn't be saying. I'm going to say what it is I think, but only after I get through it for a while. But again, I tend to feel when they're talking, and I feel when they walk in the room, and it's a high pitch like now that's happening, but not as overwhelmingly. It might not be the same entity. It might be someone who's just off watching somewhere, and I don't think that light is going to go off in the back with it. That's back there, that colored light. That's the cat light, which I've got sitting over here too. But this one's not turned on. I've shown you guys that a couple times, but it's not turned on. That one's turned on. But and again, if you hear something, the only thing you heard externally, by the way, you heard a car going off. You heard a car horn going off. That's it. There's no one else talking in the apartment. I'm trying to get through this so I don't disturb them for very long, and the neighbor's not next door yet. So, but again, it's a late hour, and I want to be able to show you what I do and how I do it and why I do it. And for those who missed it and aren't on Twitch, I'm just gonna transfer this to YouTube, and then also so that you all will be able to view it. And for those who want to hang in there and see this, great. I've done this in short order and short form before on YouTube, but in Twitch, I'm able to. I want to do a long form and bring people over, who might be able to be in this, and it would be nice to be able to be in this. But I'm hoping this came out okay. I'm hoping that that everybody was able to hear me and was able to see, and again, I was hoping that would go off. It did go off once, but I was hoping everyone would be able to watch that and see that go on. But either way, I just thought I'd go ahead and do that tonight. I didn't realize I would go ahead and put up a first episode, a long form. The first time I came up was that I was just testing it out, testing out the stream and introducing the channel. But this is really the first actual episode. So again, I don't have everything set up that I want. For those who are interested in signing up and seeing more, great, wonderful. If you want me to be able to see streaming comments come in, tell me that you do. For me, it tends to be a distraction. It's not that I don't want to talk to you all or don't want to go back and forth with people who are coming onto the stream. Of course I would. If I'm streaming in YouTube and I can see it, great, I'll talk. But I kind of need another set of eyes to do that. Instead of me always looking to say hello to someone or whatever, which I don't mind doing. But it's just difficult when I'm trying to analyze and I'm trying to be really particular about it. I might occasionally look over and say hello to people and how are you doing and go back to the analysis. But a lot of people will come in to see the work, to see the walkthrough. And for those who aren't really all that familiar on aren't all that familiar with what I do in Messenger Guardians for the channel, and I'll give you a little taste of what it is I'm going to be doing. Um, that I'm going to run through. I'll give you somewhat of a little bit of a taste, like an intro to that channel, which is really the intro to my channel here as well. These really operate as the same. And then I'll go ahead and drop in real quick a I'll drop in a I'll drop in an actual quick preview of what I went through at the location at the location. So let me run this for you real quick, and then I'll run a second or two of just a taste of what it is I'm going to be showing and doing, but on a more detailed basis with the Cecil stuff that I collected about 3.5, 4 years ago. So let me do something real quick here for you all, and let me let me show you where I'm going to be going and what I'm going to be what we're looking at here. And again, this is from my YouTube channel, but again, this is for you to be able to see what we're doing. And I apologize, I had to go back on that again. I do apologize. I was in LA when I did these. And a shout out to my grandniece who helped me do that opening image, or helped me put together a portion of this. And all the images are images I took. All of them, even the ones in England, which are these two here that have come up. And it's come up earlier too, an image from England. But all images that I took. And one of the images my niece did. Some of the other images coming up I did in Finland. Like these were all Finland. But they are my images. That's here in Montpelier. This is back in England. I won't say exactly where. This here in Vermont. Of course, Los Angeles. I took this from a train. San Fran. And I did take that image. And a special friend of mine in London, South London, did this. Well, actually, he's not in South London. He's in the county just south of London who did that. So, and I did credit him for the image right here at the end. All right, so I wanted to show you guys what to look forward to for what we're going to be looking at next time. So let me bring it up. And all there is on my channel are then, like, this was an investigation I helped do back in 2016 or 17. And so I got permission to put it up because it's another team. Epic Executive Paranormal, wonderful team if you get a chance to go to their channel. And these are other things related to me doing the same kind of work you saw me do tonight, but I did it on my phone. And posted it. So I do a lot of those. And my channel isn't as big as so many other investigators, not even close. It's just a pittance. But at the same time, there is instances where I went onto News Channel and did shows and did episodes, or I'm coming from Sullivan Museum in Vermont. But also I wanted to be able to show you just a taste of where we're coming from. Here's my Barton one, and this one has had so many views. It was incredible. But there's other Barton stuff coming up of files I thought I lost, which were just crazy. I'm going to be reanalyzing a lot of these files on Twitch and going through them and doing things with them that I hadn't thought to do before because, I thought to do, but I just hadn't had time. But now I'm trying to make time. So here's two things of what's coming, a taste of what's coming, and I want to be very particular about not giving away too much. But this is enough to show you what's coming.
Okay, this is the third night. It's 4:06 in the morning, the 2nd of April at the Cecil. It's called Stay at Home, but big giant sign on the side of the building is the Cecil. So really, it still is. Nothing will erase that history. I can understand not really getting that much rest the night I landed here. Got here a little after midnight. Landed around 10 something. Didn't get here to the Cecil for a couple hours because I went and had dinner with a friend. Couldn't sleep that well. Second night, someone was banging on the door, on the room door down the hall very loudly for 10 or 15 minutes, and I was the only one to report it. And I actually had to go downstairs to report it because no one answered the phones. This third night, I've developed, this has happened before, I've developed a chest issue, and when I lay back, if I can sleep only for a few minutes at a time, I'm dreaming that I'm being persecuted by the military or someone in the military, but I've got someone on my side. It's really lucid. But I keep feeling like somebody is really just wanting to mess with me. The place is thick with energy. I'm going to try to sleep. I'm going to try to sleep. All right, team. Squinty.
This is 2016. There was a lot of serious orbs in the place. Very little dust, but a lot of orbs. Okay, so you guys now have an idea of what we got coming up in the next Twitch episode that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be going back through files that I've never gone through before. Some of you have seen on my YouTube channel, but I've never gone back through them. So, I think that that's going to be creepy all in itself. So, and interesting, and I've already lined up some things to use. So I don't know how it's going to go, and I can only hope that it'll go as well as it can. And I definitely wanted you all to see that and see what's going on with that. And it's very interesting. All right, so I'm going to count us out for this, and we're going to be done for the night. Thank you all for being here on my channel, watching me do this, and I think it's excellent. I'll be taking this this Twitch event and I'll be copying it over into YouTube for those who don't have Twitch, who don't want to have it. It's going to be on Messenger Guardians Paranormal. And if you want to get a hold of me, it's messengerguardiansvermont@gmail.com. It can be all lowercase, no dots, no dashes. And if you want to get a hold of me, and or if you want to guest onto my show and come on, then we can find other ways of getting you on so that you can be heard coming through my my speaker or sound system. We can talk back and forth and make that happen. And maybe even do some work together, do some things together, or stream together somehow. We'll all figure it out. So it's all new to me, and I'm doing my very best for it. But hopefully this will evolve over time. And I can see myself looking back on this episode and going, oh my God, it was just so bleh. And I just did not know what I was doing. But hey, future Glennie, I'm talking to you, buddy. All right, team. Thank you for coming on, everyone. And for those who see this only through YouTube, you didn't see it in Twitch because nobody was in Twitch watching, okay, cool. That's all right, too. Everybody's got to have a starting point. And again, this isn't my major function. I teach and teach writing, college level writing. So, and that's what I wish to do in my life is teach. And I teach a very deep level of literature, very similar to the way I teach paranormal stuff. And we may even trip over into those kind of ideas or more advanced ideas of humanity, that kind of thing. So I'm going to say good night and thank you all for being here. And I said this was going to be short, but you see how it goes. All right, be well, everyone, and good night. Yay! All right, strike it up, everyone. This band knows how to play my tune. All right. And this is how it goes. Good night, everyone.